Hey friends, welcome back to the channel. My name is Mansa and today we are making a chocolate pound cake. This is like a loaf cake and let me tell y'all, it is decadent, it is rich, literally melts in your mouth. We're also going to be making a very simple chocolate ganache, which is just a simple chocolate frosting to go with this cake. Perfect sweetness and perfect for a small family. So to make a chocolate pound cake, we're going to start off with our dry ingredients. Here I have 1 cup of all-purpose flour already sifted. And to that, I am going to be adding half a cup of cocoa powder. So let's start. This right here is where you can make or break the recipe. Okay, I'm going to start off by sifting it because it usually will come lumpy. But please get a high quality cocoa powder. That really interferes with the taste and the flavor of this cake. Okay, so I'm gonna just run it through my little sifter to get rid of the lumps because like I said, it was a little bit lumpy. Now if you've been on this channel, you know that this is my preferred brand. This Ghirardelli 100% cocoa Dutch process. It is dark, it is rich. Now to that, I am going to be adding a 1/4 teaspoon of baking powder and a 1/4 teaspoon of baking soda. To that, I am also going to add half a teaspoon of salt. Okay. Now, I'm using unsalted butter, by the way. So I'm going in with my whisk. These are our dry ingredients. I'm going in with my whisk and just incorporate everything. And if this is your first time coming across this channel, I want to say a warm welcome to you. We're going to put our dry ingredients to the side. And today I am using my stand mixer. Now, you don't have to use this. This is a small cake, so you can get away with your hand mixer. Okay. So now, we're going to start off by putting on our apron and get right into it. Of course, you guys know I'm going to start with the fats. So here I have 2 sticks of butter, okay? I'm using unsalted butter. That's why I already added salt. Now to that, I am going to be using half a block, which is 4 ounces of cream cheese. Let me tell you, if you do not have cream cheese, go ahead and use the same quantity of either Greek yogurt or sour cream. You would get the same results. Okay, now all I'm doing here is to try to cream my fats, and of course remember to stop and scrape down your beaters and also the sides of your mixing bowl, and then continue to mix it. We plan on mixing the fats until they're nice and airy. Now, of course, we're going to add some sugar. Now, this is a small cake, so we're only using 1 cup of granulated white sugar. You can cut down the sweetness to even half a cup. Trust me, it would still be perfect if you're watching all that sugar. Again, I am scraping down my beaters and the sides of my bowl, and then I'm going back in to beat the sugar and fats until it is really nice and airy. And of course, you know the usual process, we're going to be adding our eggs. Now, again, it's a smaller cake, so I'm only going in with 3 eggs as opposed to the 5 or 6 eggs that I would use for my big pound cakes, okay? So, per usual, one at a time, beat it for like a few seconds and then add the next one until all the eggs are incorporated in the mixture. And of course, once I get all the eggs in there, I'll stop again to scrape down my bowl and the beaters as well, and then beat it for a few more minutes. Now, it is time to add in my flour mixture. I am just going to add this a little at a time. I think I split it into 2 because it tends to make such a big mess, y'all. So just doing this helps it, and it also helps me to not overbeat my batter. So that's really important. So it has been mixing for a few seconds. Then I will go back in and add the rest of it, okay? And then also beat it again. Now at this point, I am just beating on low medium speed, no more than that. Once you put in that flour mixture, you don't want to go ahead and overbeat. Again, scrape and scrape. You might think this is so repetitive, but trust me, it makes all the difference. Scrape down because you can still see the white part and the chocolate powder and all of that. So yeah, you gotta want to scrape it all the way to the bottom and the sides and mix it a little bit more. Now, if you've been on this channel, you also know I like to add coffee to my chocolate cake. Okay, so now right here I have some instant coffee. So let's put our batter to the side and take care of this. I am adding 2 teaspoons of instant coffee in boiling hot water. For the hot water, I am using 2 tablespoons. Again, all the measurements, the exact measurements for this recipe will be listed in the description box below. Click on anywhere on the title of this video, it will open up the description box. Now we're gonna add this hot coffee to a flour mixture while beating it on low medium speed. You can also use prepared coffee that you already had in your Keurig. It will work the same. Just make sure that it's hot. Of course, I am going in with some vanilla extract. I went in with a full teaspoon of that. And y'all, for the last time, we are scraping down, as you can see, just to make sure that everything, we don't want to have patches of cocoa and then white patches over there. No, we want it to be nice and even. So when we're done with that, I'm going to go ahead and prepare my baking pan. I am using a 9x5 baking pan, and I'm going in with my pan baking spray, which already has flour. You can also go in with some butter to grease the pan and also parchment paper. I don't need all that. This works perfectly for me. It releases really, really easily. So I'm just go ahead and do that. Don't forget the sides because it's a loaf, so it's going to bake all the way to the top. Now I am just folding my batter a little bit and then pour it into the prepared pan. If you guys are enjoying this video, please go ahead and give your girl a thumbs up. I really appreciate it when you guys do. Leave a comment below. Let me know what you think. If you do try the recipe, let me know. Let's just interact below. It helps to boost my videos and all of that good stuff on this red app, okay? Thank you all so much. So, of course, I'm going in with the back of a spoon just to smoothen everything out. And as you can see, I'm pressing it down. This is a really, really light and airy pound cake batter, and so is the cake. Let me tell you, it's not so dense at all. And y'all know how we do it. We're gonna pop it, drop it, release excess air bubbles. And not me being a little aggressive with this cake, oh my goodness. Anywho, we are baking today at 325 degrees Fahrenheit for an hour. In the meantime, we're gonna go ahead and get on our chocolate frosting. You need a microwave safe bowl, okay? So I am using a Pyrex bowl, and to that I am going to be adding half a cup of a heavy whipping cream. Y'all already know what's going down. To that I am adding half a cup of semi-sweet chocolate chips. Now I'm using two different kinds because I was out of one and all of that. So I'm using half a cup of semi-sweet chocolate chips. And now I'm going to put it in the microwave. I like to go at 30-second intervals, okay? So this is the first 30-second in the microwave. And as you can see, the chocolate chips are already starting to melt, but it is still quite lumpy. So I would go in with the back of my spoon and try to break it up as much as possible. And then I would put it back into the microwave for another 30 seconds. And we'll be right back. And here we are. It's been another 30 seconds and y'all can see it is hot. You just want it to start to bubble. You don't want it to boil and spill over, okay? So now all we have to do is just go ahead and break up all the lumps as much as possible to make it really smooth. Now this is when I like to add 1 tablespoon of butter because it melts more easily because of course it is still hot. So it's the perfect time to add it. This is going to add shine and also it's going to help this adhere to the cake and just form that frost on the top a little easier. So this is what it looks like. We're going to let it cool down all the way. In the meantime, my cake is out of the oven. I baked mine for exactly 60 minutes. And you'll see that crack in the middle. Y'all, it's an indication that we did something right over here. So I'm going to let this cool down all the way to room temperature. Meanwhile, I wanted y'all to see the toothpick test. And I put it inside in the middle of the cake. And as you can see, it came out nice and clean. So yeah, go ahead and leave that to cool down on the cooling rack until it is completely at room temperature. So here is my cake. It has cooled all the way down. And also while my cake was cooling down, I put my frosting in the refrigerator. I just find that it gets thicker and easier to work with when it cools down, especially with that butter in there because butter is going to congeal when it's cold, of course. So yeah. Just go ahead and y'all know how we're doing. This is the most satisfying part of it all. This cake right here has its own sweetness, which is perfect in my opinion. But you see this glaze right here, this frosting actually, because it's thicker than the glaze. This frosting right here is the literal icing on the top. It is so good. It just adds an extra layer of chocolatey goodness and just the right amount of sweetness. It is not over sweet at all. That's why I use semi-sweet. If you even want to cut down further on the sweetness, you can use the unsweetened chocolate chips. Of course, I'm just going in with my spatula and just try to smoothen everything out. And then I like to let it sit for at least 20 minutes to 30 minutes, just so it could set a little bit before I cut into it. And this is the finished product. The frosting has been sitting on it for about 30 minutes, and this is what it looks like. And it is just perfect. When I tell you it's perfect, do not take it from me. Run to the description box, get the recipe, and try it out. Now, of course, y'all know I'm going to have to do a taste test, or at least cut it so you guys can see what we're working with. I like to show you guys what it looks like on the inside and also the outside. As you can see, my knife is just gliding and sliding right through. And can you see the crumb of this cake? Let's talk about decadence. It melts in your mouth. It is absolutely delicious. It has this deep, rich, chocolatey goodness. My fork, as you can see, is cutting right through it. That frosting, like I said, it is the perfect cherry on top. It is so delicious. Again, do not take it from me. Please get to try it. If there's one recipe you're going to try this one. I also have more chocolate cake recipes. I'll put them in the description box, and I also want you to check out more of my pound cakes and other recipes. Thank you guys for watching.